key to successful hospitality project development. As we have around 320,000 keys in the pipeline at this given time, we have around 1.3 trillion worth of projects in the pipeline. That makes this topic more important. So we are lucky today we got people who are with a hands-on approach, with a fully involved in such businesses. They are part of our panel. Please, Mr. Abdullah Azhari. Abdullah is the CEO of Saudi Icon Company. Now today this year is the 10th anniversary of the company. So successfully launched in Saudi and fully involved all across in various projects throughout KSA. We have Dr. Adel Ezzat, please join us. Hitesh Gandhi, taking care of Marriott brand in the region, KSA and Kuwait as well. Dr. Ezzat, shall we start from you? With this 320,000 keys in the pipeline at present, what are your thoughts to achieve this development in a short period of time? What do you think, how the kingdom is handling this inventory at present?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good morning, everybody, and thank you for hosting me today. I believe we are at the right place, at the right moment. There is a rapid growth in the kingdom in tourism. The announcements that we have seen announcing adding more than 300,000 rooms before 2030 is encouraging for everybody. And the most important thing that it will diversify the Saudi economy. It will help the Saudi economy to grow and to reduce the dependability on oil. That will help us in this sector. We will see a lot of jobs coming to the market. The job creation in the tourism is becoming one of the most important sectors in Saudi Arabia for males and females. I'm very happy to see a lot of females as well entering to this sector. The good thing here is that the promotion of the tourism is very much aligned with the Saudi vision, and we see a lot of comprehensive planning for the tourism promotions and marketing. So we in Elaf, we're moving in line with this direction, and we have a vision. As you might know, we have two brands. We have the Elaf brand, hotel brands, and we have Judian brand. So we have a vision by end of 2025 to be the largest local player in the market in terms of number of rooms. Of course, local player with high standards, with quality, and with customer experience that we would leave with our visitors, whether they're domestic visitors or international visitors. And this is the determination of our country. We see the plan of the country is to position Saudi Arabia on the global tourism map. So we have to be in line with that, and we have to gain market share and place our company. This is the vision that I'm announcing today, that we would like to be the largest local player in the market in the coming 2 years.
Thank you. So with 320 in the pipeline keys and existing around 150, 60, so by 2030, towards the end of Vision 2030, it will be 500,000 keys we will have in the market. Abdullah, with this much inventory in the pipeline in terms of development, do you think it will have an impact on delivery?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you for having us today. And to answer your question, yes, absolutely. The development that's happening in the country is at an unprecedented level. in every sector, not only in hospitality. So if you ask any contractor that is local, the answer is that everybody's busy and everybody's over capacity. So to deliver these projects, we as a company have taken big investments in the last 2-3 years to grow our capability. We've grown from around 200 people in 2020 to almost 2,000 people now in our group. So we understand the ambition, we understand the demand, basically, and we're trying to catch up with our supply ability. Yeah, and I think the other approach that we are following, and more companies are following in the market to meet this demand, is to bringing international players and partners to the market by setting up joint ventures. I think the Ministry of Investment is facilitating many of these activities, basically, for international companies, and yeah.
Hitesh, how important is, with this 1.3 trillion worth of projects in the pipeline in KSA, having those delivered on time within the budget is a crucial element, especially when you have signed, when we have signed some of these mega events, and there's a deadline to have the inventory available. What do you think, how important it is?
Thank you for having me, everyone. I think it's absolutely crucial that we have everything delivered on time, because the country's vision is to attract a significant amount of international tourists. So what we need to prepare for is that these international tourists will arrive. I mean, the kingdom has already achieved what they were set out to for the 100 million visitation by 2030. They've achieved it today. And it's imperative that we deliver these projects on time, along with everyone in the room, all the stakeholders, to ensure there's multiple asset classes, such as, more importantly, hospitality, because of the forum we're in, but also other asset classes like retail, F&B, to ensure when they come here, they have the offering that is expected from the country, and in line with what the country is looking to achieve on a global landscape.
Thank you. Dr. Ezzat, what do you think, how do you define a successful project development and delivery? You are managing, you are also developing it. So in your opinion, what is the successful formula?
Yes, I believe when you look into hospitality projects, you cannot deal with them like different type of projects. You have to do a lot of market research and collect market intelligence data, analyze them properly. The other factor that you need to look at is adherence to regulations, whether it is government regulations or safety, health standards. So these are important things that you need to consider. Looking at the kingdom, it's a big country. You need to understand where you put your investment, the location of the project, and the proximity to attractions, to airports, to highways, to entertainment venues. Also important, and could be one of the success drivers, is the location of the places that you select to do your investment, your projects at. Now, on the other hand, today's projects are very much dependable on the technology, on the IA, on the robotic services that must be introduced with the new projects. It's very different from the previous projects. So dependability on technology is also crucial. Partnerships also with the different stakeholders, whether it's government, private sector, and having these kind of different integrated partnerships across the different stakeholders in the tourism ecosystem would also help in making sure that these projects are delivered on time with the right quality and delivered in a way that really help in boosting this industry.
Thank you. The panel before us, there was a very interesting point they touched base is about now we are in an era of Gen Z, which is going to, in the coming few years, is going to turn into Gen Alpha. So the panelist was mentioning how important it is to understand whom are we going to deliver, because we are not delivering it for generation of yesterday or today, we are generation of future. So is it considered in your development plans when you develop it, how important it is to understand this is for future, the futuristic approach?
Well, it's very important, and you can see it in the type of projects that are coming up in the market, and you can also, in the last 5-7 years in Saudi, you can see that the population of the country has completely flourished. Yesterday, I was with a friend of mine that comes to Saudi regularly, and he was telling me how pleasantly surprised and happy he was that his Uber driver was a Saudi lady that is studying law, basically, and picking him up in a Lexus, basically, you know, and doing Uber to make extra income on the side. So that tells you it's a small sign, a small example of how the country changed significantly over the last few years. So, of course, development projects have to take that into consideration. And us as a company, our approach basically is also open to having more females in the workforce, and we're creating jobs basically that can attract the younger generation.
Great,
yeah.
Great. Hitesh, Marriott and Accor leading KSA market in terms of projects in the pipeline, the room inventory in the pipeline. So I think you are in a best position to guide us as an operator. What do you feel? How can you help in making this delivery smooth and meet its deadlines and meet its targets? What operators are playing? What are your efforts? What role you can play?
So I think it would be important in what we're doing at Marriott is acknowledging that we have to be and try to be as localized as possible. So one of the bigger moves that we made in recent times was setting up a regional office so that when the hotels are open, we can ensure that our owners and the assets are well taken care of. So we have all various departments that are functioning outside of Riyadh, catering to the Saudi market and solely focusing on it, because we can no more operate these kind of assets, at least the quantum of assets, remotely. That's just not possible anymore. And the more we understand that we need to become a local player with like an international flavor, I think that's really when we can provide the best benefit to the owners and the assets. And then secondly, it's also assuring that we remain as flexible as possible, as agile as possible, because Saudi Arabia has been around for a long time. They've seen hospitality assets come and go, and there are assets that already exist that could use a little bit of uplift. So to give you an example, we recently, or some years ago, looked at a adaptive reuse building in Jeddah, and often we shy away from them. They are challenging, they're troublesome, but the owner has them, it's in the pocket, and I think a quick way is to remain nimble, agile, flexible, to see if we can bring these into the system and help the owner uplift the asset and the investment that they have. And lastly, and I think most importantly, is the people. I mean, I think, I know we probably touch on this later as well, but it is imperative that we have the right people to deliver these projects and also deliver the experience. And at Marriott, we are working with the Cornell Society to try and set up, or already set up the Tahseen program, which has on-the-job vocational training for Saudi citizens to introduce them to the hospitality world, but also get them excited about the hospitality again, because there was a lull, and we need to get them excited again about this. But not only in the departments that, front office, security, management. We want them to get excited about back of house services as well. And I think that's something that we are actively doing and on a successful path.
Again, it's just a relevant question to what you just mentioned. Marriott being a global powerhouse in hotel sector, how your knowledge and your technologies that you are, elsewhere, do you have a know-how? How you are transferring to this region to build up the capacity for Saudi population, Saudi staff of yours? Is there any mechanisms in place?
Well, I think. Look, the mechanism is mainly, having like a center of excellence. We are a globally widespread, and we can pull on the expertise from other markets that are in the same stages of development. And I think that's what it really comes down to is knowledge sharing. And because we have the advantage of being a large company, we can pull on resources from Europe, we can pull on resources from Asia Pacific, the US, who have already seen this life cycle. Maybe not at the scale as Saudi Arabia has, because that's unprecedented, but we have that knowledge base that we can pull on. And when it comes to technology, I think that's ever evolving, but that really comes down to the global partnerships that we have. And I think the time has come where there's no partner of ours that is shying away from Saudi Arabia. I think it's on the first topic that they have when we start discussing global technology partnerships, and everyone's really keen to enter the market. So it's just pulling the levers that we have that already exist for a market that's welcoming them with open arms.
Thank you. Dr. Ezzat, 1.2, 1.3 trillion worth of projects in the pipeline. From a local capacity point of view, what are your thoughts? What is the best way to enhance the capacity to make the delivery possible?
Yeah, I believe there are a lot of challenges, but today in this industry, we need to have that mental shift from looking at these challenges and turning them to valuable opportunities. And there are a lot of chances to do that, to turn them to opportunities if we stay positive, if we find solutions, if we do the right actions and celebrate progress. And this is what we see from the government. They celebrate progress and moving from a milestone to a milestone to a milestone, which is great. The main challenge today is the regulations and how you your compliance would be the right compliance with all type of regulations. And this is something that everybody has to follow. The other thing is the human capital issues, where you need to find the talents, train them, and attract them, of course, and retain them, because there is also another challenge, which is the leakage from the tourism industry to other industries. So you have to keep your talents and train them. The other opportunity here that need to be watched, which is the financing of these projects, whether they are mega projects or giga projects, need to be financed properly to ensure that even if oil prices moves down, up, there will be no impact on the project financing. So a lot of things, but staying positive is very important, and keep finding solutions and move with that positive mindset, because you are in a very growing industry. And Saudi Arabia, I think if you compare it to other places in the world, you won't find a place with encouraging environment for investors, for tourism, and for international people to come like Saudi Arabia these days. So we need to stay positive. Whatever the challenges we face, we move on, and we celebrate milestone after milestone.
Thank you. Abdullah, you touched base. One of the ways to develop capacity is through joint ventures. there's so much happening. In the region, there are 2 trillion worth of projects under construction. Saudi alone has 1.2. So the region needs a capacity. Joint venture, how it can help the region and particularly KSA? What sort of joint venture we are talking about?
So we're working in NEOM, in Sindala Island, as a fit-out. Our fit-out operation is busy in NEOM. We're the only Saudi fit-out company that is actually working in Sindala Island. All the other companies are coming from either Qatar or the UAE. So as you know, many other regions in the world are witnessing slowing economical growth. So there are great companies in Europe, in Spain, in Italy, in France, that have been doing what the country needs for a long time. So there's great centers of excellence and pockets of experience that can be tapped by establishing partnerships. Adding to what Doctor just said, the challenge of resources is not just basically finding the right resources, it's training them, retaining them. And in our industry, in the construction, you have 2 types of, you have blue collar and white collar. The blue collars are more manageable because we're lucky to have the Asian countries close to us, so we're able to attract their talent. The white collar jobs are more challenging because there's huge demand, and it's still hard to attract people to come here. So some of these European countries, they provide a very nice wealth of talent, especially when you create a joint venture. You bring in expert people, so you don't have to, So you're not basically, there's the trial and error period is limited. Yeah.
Based on being in the region 25 years, what we have seen successfully done in UAE, in Qatar, is local companies tie up with the global powerhouses to gain the knowledge. And that is the quickest way to build up your capacity. And at the same time, you deliver the projects as well. Hitesh, now, luckily being part of the tourism development here in KSA, we have seen, which is very rare that I have witnessed elsewhere, at the initial phase of tourism development, government is equally where they're focusing on primary cities, they are gone into 2nd tier, and they are gone into 3rd tier with the same vigor, same planning, and same dedicated resources, which is not somewhere I have seen elsewhere in the region or globally as well. In this area, is there a challenge doing a hotel in a main city than remote area? Because logistics, does it make there's an impact on the project?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, we'd be lying if we're saying there wasn't an impact. I mean, obviously, it is easier operating from the hub cities like Riyadh, Jeddah, Mecca, Medina. And what we often forget is how big the country is and how diverse the topography of this country is. And so it'd be a shame to ignore the secondary, tertiary cities. But to your question, Turab, absolutely there is a challenge. And I think, again, it's the breadth of resources that you need to overcome these challenges. And one of the challenges, again, comes down to staffing and human capital. People want to live in these hub cities. People want to live in Riyadh, Jeddah, Medina, Mecca. But when you go to areas such as Abha, Taif, Al-Ahsa, you have to incentivize the people a little more. But the thing is, you can always overcome that by offering an experience that you can't get in Riyadh and Jeddah. And I think that's where the magic lies, is if you go out to Al-Ahsa and you offer an experience you can't find in Riyadh, you can start to charge a little more and make up for that a gap or the increment in incentives that you have to provide the staff. And I'm sure our friends at Saudi Icon Company can tell us more about the sheer supply chain to get to a lot of these secondary and tertiary cities, because that's not easy. I mean, again, I'm reiterating this because Saudi Arabia is huge. We often forget that. It's a huge country with a huge population. And it's always going to have its challenges, especially that they are trying to achieve what other cities have achieved in 30 years in under 10 years. Yeah. So I think the country is absolutely ready and geared up, especially with the support of the government, to overcome these challenges. And I think they have the right people in the country or have employed the right people to overcome them.
Doctor, now KSA has won Expo 2030. Delivery is right there. With 15, 16 mega projects in the pipeline, and then you have Expo, which is going to transform Riyadh, 40 million people we have to welcome. How Expo will impact the rest of the projects in terms of delivery? What do you think?
Of course, there are simultaneous things happening at the same time. You've got the Expo, the World Cup might come to Saudi Arabia in 34, AFC, the Asian Cup. You've got entertainment activities, wrestling, boxing, formula, too many things happening at the same time. And these things bring opportunities to the kingdom, but also will bring challenges, and we need to deal with them carefully. When it comes to, for example, construction, Saudi Arabia is a developed country, so you need to utilize the existing infrastructure to avoid more construction or noise. Also, the collaboration among the stakeholders has to be well maintained. For me as a Saudi, I would love really to have a lasting legacy more than the economical gains of Expo or the World Cup or the Asian Cup. More than the infrastructure that will be built. The legacy that will be lasting for the country is very important as well for us and for the new generations.
Thank you. One last question. I think we are out of time, but important one. You're working in NEOM already.
Yeah.
NEOM and all these mega giga projects, they are not something common that world has seen. So you can't have a CV showing I have done something similar to this. So how you handle it, or others who are into this project, because it's totally something nobody has ever has done earlier.
Well, that's the beauty of engineering. You know, engineering is the function to basically solve challenges and problems and make the vision into a reality. So we have in the company very talented engineers that we continuously develop and train. And we break down the problem, basically, or the challenge into many smaller components that we can chew and that are sizable that we can tackle. And that's basically how it's getting done. So Sindala Island, for example, it's a very ambitious, large project, and I think it will be the first iconic NEOM project that will be delivered. There are more than 25,000 people working on site now to make that vision a reality. So, yeah.
Thank you.
We're excited to be part of it.
We are out of time. Please, any question from the audience? We can, our panelists can answer. No? I think you answered comprehensively, so there's nothing left for the audience. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Abdullah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Turab.